Today's Dallas Cowboys report is presented by Manscape. You can get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products when you use promo code COWBOYS at manscaped.com. That link, folks, will be in both the comment section and in the description. We're looking at breakout players today. First up on our list, it shouldn't come as any surprise, that is CeeDee Lamb, because Lamb has looked nothing short of incredible at training camp. He has been, at least early on I should say, the best player out there. I am fully convinced, and you guys know that I don't drink the Kool-Aid all that often, I am fully convinced the second-year jump is going to happen for Lamb. His quarterback's going to be back. Lamb was going to go for 1,000 yards last year before Dak Prescott got hurt. He still went for 935. Only 5 scores. I think you might see him get some more reps on the outside this year, especially if the Cowboys try to maybe not overload the workload for Amari Cooper early on this year. I am all aboard the CeeDee Lamb hype train. Whether you want to call him wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, or wide receiver 1A or 1B, doesn't really matter to me. I am excited about what CeeDee Lamb, I believe, is going to be able to do this year. I am fully convinced, at least on offense, and for the entire Cowboys roster, there's no more obvious breakout player this coming season. So what do you think? By the end of the year, will CeeDee Lamb emerge as the Cowboys' number 1 wide receiver? If you think so, type in 1 for yes. If not, you can type in 2 for no. Let's go to defense. Trevon Diggs. The reports coming out of camp is he's taken a step forward specifically with his technique. And that's a big deal for the Cowboys and for Diggs. There were quite a few splash plays here, which is a really good sign for a second-round rookie in a very difficult situation. Now the Cowboys need him to be more consistent. You can take out that Eagles game, for example, and the production doesn't look as good. Of course, that's not really fair to do. He got picked on a lot because, well, you're going to take shots to your best receiver when the level of cornerback play isn't that different from your number 1 to your 2 and maybe your number 3 to an extent. And Diggs was tasked with a lot of difficult matchups last year, and that's going to be the case again this season. Now, make no mistake, the takeaways, the turnovers, those matter. But I think the next step for Diggs is, beyond maybe getting even more interceptions, is to not get beat as frequently. And I think Diggs absolutely has the ability to do that. It's going to be a tough task. He is the obvious number 1 corner on this team, but I think he's primed to take another step forward. Yeah, he's been beaten a few times by CeeDee Lamb in camp. That's because it's CeeDee Lamb. That's not a dig against Trevon Diggs. So what do you guys think here? Who is your pick to be the top Cowboys breakout player? Those are my top 2, CeeDee Lamb and Trevon Diggs, but there are other names I think are also worth discussing. Get your votes in for me in the comment section. This question is the pinned comment on today's video. So you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down, and get your votes in. Next up is Randy Gregory, the defensive end pass rusher, potentially extraordinaire for the Dallas Cowboys. I've emphasized this a lot, and I'm going to keep doing it. I think that a normal offseason for Randy Gregory, the impact that has on him on the field, off the field, and being prepared to make a huge impact this season cannot be understated. I think Gregory truly is primed for his best season ever. He's also, by the way, entering the last year of his contract, so maybe contract year Gregory could be even better than what we've seen in the past. Now, last year, Gregory wasn't out there that frequently. Part of it was some, as Gregory put it, favoritism among the coaching staff with their usage of, for some reason, Aldon Smith down the stretch and even Dorrance Armstrong over Randy Gregory. I don't think that's going to be the case this year with Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn is very much primed to unleash Randy Gregory. I think Gregory in that mostly designated pass rusher role, it's an edge rusher, it doesn't really matter if he's standing up around the hand in the dirt, whatever's more comfortable for him, is going to be a big deal. I am consuming the Kool-Aid right now for Randy Gregory. I think he doubles his sack production this year. I think he's going to get upwards of 7. But I want to hear from you guys too. So predict this for me. How many sacks will Randy Gregory have this season? Speak your mind in the comments section. Those are the big 3 breakout players. Now some guys who I'm maybe hoping for a little bit more in terms of a breakout. It would be really nice if Tyler Biatch emerges as a clear-cut maybe not maybe not Travis Frederick caliber, but top 15, top 20-ish starting caliber center in the NFL. It would appear the Cowboys are giving Biatch the job. The number 2 guy early in camp was Connor Williams, so, that's not really much competition since he's going to be your left guard. Biatch did show promise in his rookie season, and I've long had this opinion that Connor Williams and even Connor McGovern, to an extent, although it was mostly Zach Martin, played better when Tyler Biatch was the center as opposed to the now retired Joe Looney. So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm hoping that continues. I was disappointed last year Biatch didn't get more playing time once the season was, once he came back from his own injury. Health's important there. The snap's going to be important as well. He needs to become a better football player. Biatch was in a unique situation last year with no real camp or preseason. Now he gets that this year. So I think you'll see plenty of opportunities for Biatch. I hope he plays well. If that's the case, I feel a lot better about the long-term outlook of the offensive line. If he doesn't break out, there will be competition next year at the center position. As I mentioned, today's show is made possible by Manscaped. You can use, like I do, the Lawnmower 4.0 and get 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Cowboys. When you manscape properly, everything looks and even feels, to an extent, just a little bit bigger once you trim up that excess bush down there. So why not look and feel better and perform better off the field as well? 20% off when you use promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. That link, folks, will be in the comment section and in the description. It's for the Lawnmower 4.0 and all the other fantastic men's grooming products at manscaped.com. Don't forget to use the promo code Cowboys. Defense now, Neville Gallimore. And again, of the defensive tackles, this is the one who I think is primed to maybe not only have a breakout year, but even be the number 1 in terms of snap count defensive tackle for Dallas. Down the stretch last year, the last 4 or so games, it would always seem like there was a splash play out of Neville Gallimore. And now the goal is, okay, you made some splash plays, you were part of a terrible defense that really wasn't all your fault. Now it's, can you become more consistent as it relates to splash plays and make a bigger impact in both the short and the long term? Now, Gallimore last year only half a sack, but again, the pass rushing opportunities from a quality standpoint were not nearly that good. There's a big difference between rushing the passer on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 14. There were really no 3rd and 14 opportunities. It wasn't quite tee-off season for the Cowboys defensive line last year. So I think the production will be improved from Gallimore this year, assuming, of course, he ends up earning a key role. Carlos Watkins has been heavily involved early in camp. I'm excited about Brent Urban. Osa Odigizua could be a 3rd down pass rusher in his very first season. So I don't know yet what the rotation will end up looking like. We'll see what Tristan Hill is able to contribute this year, for example. That rotation is still up in the air. So there is quite a bit of projection here as it relates to Neville Gallimore, but the talent and the potential is there. We're going to keep you guys covered all off-season long and all season long as well. We are 100% free here at the Dallas Cowboys Report. So if you want more free videos every single day, sometimes even multiple times a day, simply hit that big red button. If you're watching somewhere other than YouTube for whatever reason, the link is right there at the bottom of your screen. It's youtube.com/CowboysTV. Let's talk tight ends now here, and I'm going to group Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz together. Am I cheating? Yes. Does it matter? No, it's my show. I'm certainly able to do that if I want. One of these guys, Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, I think ends up emerging. This time last year, we were all convinced it was Blake Jarwin. Unfortunately for Blake Jarwin, he barely played at all last season. 1 reception at 12 yards, got hurt, wasn't able to make the impact after getting paid everyone thought he was going to. And then after a very rough start, Dalton Schultz ended up emerging as a very reliable safety valve at tight end. 615 yards is actually pretty good production, especially given that he was a little bit limited early on in the season for a tight end. So at minimum, the Cowboys should feel comfortable with their tight ends. Can they get bigger and more playmaking, though? That remains to be seen. Who do you think is more likely to break out at tight end this year? Is it Blake Jarwin? You can type in BJ. Look how nice we are, letting you guys have some childish fun in the comments section. Or you can type in DS for Dalton Schultz. Make your predictions right now for me in the comments section. And lastly, Donovan Wilson, the safety. And you could maybe argue DeMonte Casey, Malik Hooker, but I feel better about Donovan Wilson being a breakout player. The Cowboys, at least the defensive coaching staff, proved last year they were not trustworthy, and they didn't always make the right decisions when they were playing Darian Thompson, who's bad, over Donovan Wilson. He was a bit of a breakout player last year, so I might be cheating here a little bit by including him. But he was a playmaker last year for the Cowboys. It seemed like when there was a big play made in the secondary, it was frequently Donovan Wilson making it, or at least involved in some capacity. And the Cowboys need that to continue this season. He can do, I think, some split safety coverage, can be around the box. I'm not sold on him as a true rangy single high guy, but with DeMonte Casey and Malik Hooker, you might not have to set yourself up in that particular position. So I'm on board with the Donovan Wilson hype train. I would be very surprised and frankly disappointed, if not outright upset, if he's not your number one safety this year. Now, maybe that means Hooker played great, but that seems a little, or Casey as well, maybe that seems just a little bit unlikely. As a reminder, folks, if you haven't already, go let me know who your top Cowboys breakout player is this season. This question is the pinned comment. So this is the end of the video. Scroll on down, take a look, and get your votes in. Your top breakout Cowboys player for the 2021 season.